What is going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be breaking down why Abaddon has a 55% win rate. This hero since our last video hasn't really changed a lot, but I think this hero does deserve a lot more love and a lot more recognition. I don't see this hero nearly enough in my pubs, and I really think you guys should be picking up this hero, especially if you want to make some really free MMR, because this hero is very low risk and very high reward. The hero is very difficult to take down, but I will be telling you guys what you guys should be doing on Abaddon, and honestly depends on your positioning, because if you want to play it from the offlane, it's a different build up because you're going to be going for auras. You can still build right click from the offlane, but it's kind of grief in my opinion. I think you should go for items like Vlad's, you can go for drums. These types of builds are very good with your Aghanim Scepter as well. There's a lot of things you can do on the hero. You can play him from the support line. The hero just does a lot, and a Aphotic Shield is always going to be a really important tool in your kit, not only for being a core, but also for being a support. You can get your cores out of really sticky situations, because if you pop a Solar Crest and an Aphotic Shield, it's going to be very difficult for the enemy team to actually burst that target, just because it's so much protection to go through. So I highly recommend, if you guys are going to be playing support Abaddon, you guys are building a Solar Crest and you're going to be pretty much in a really good position, and your cores are definitely going to appreciate it. Really good buffs, and if you pair that up with an Ogre Magi, it's going to be really strong as a support pairing, because you don't have any stuns, but Ogre Magi does, and Ogre has the attack speed buff, so it's just a really good combination in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about support Abaddon. I just play him from the offlane, and from time to time I will play carry Abaddon. I think the problem with carry Abaddon is the hero doesn't farm fast. The hero can definitely be a very reliable laner, just because he's very hard to push out a lane. It has to be a hero like Viper or something like that, where he's being broken and just damage over time could be an issue, because your mana pool is a little bit garbage. So unless you get your support to get mana boots for you, then you can't really reliably spam a Aphotic Shield. You can have some issues with that, but overall the hero doesn't lose many lanes. He's very strong right now in the patch, and he hasn't been changed. But the fact that I don't see this hero enough means that either players don't really know about Abaddon, or they just don't want to pick this hero and don't like the playing style. I always say, when you're playing Abaddon, especially from the carry position, it's kind of like an Ursa. Whatever Ursa doesn't like, Abaddon is not going to like. Abaddon is just a right click hero. Your damage is going to be coming from your right clicks. Yeah, you have your Aphotic Shield pop and you have your Miscoil, but that's all very kind of insignificant damage sources. Your right click is going to be the most with your Curse of Avernus. That's where your big damage is going to come out from, and the rest is kind of like secondary damage. So typically you want to play up against heroes that are less tanky. You want to play against heroes that don't want to be silenced and don't want to get jumped on top of. You lack catch because you don't have any movement abilities, which is really rough. So you could eventually get a Blink Dagger if that is a really big problem for you. You can get a Silver Edge, but with the Harpoon build, you should be fine in terms of catch. But a lot of players will end up building a Yule Scepter against you, because that's going to kite your ultimate almost completely, which is a really big issue for the hero. So building Nullifier can be very important on this hero. You could also build a Linken's or a BKB if that's starting to be an issue for you, because your ultimate is what's going to keep you alive. It's very similar to a Troll Warlord, where his ultimate is the last thing you want to use. Abaddon is kind of the same. You don't want to use your ultimate ahead of time just to get people off you. You definitely could, but you want to use that ultimate right at the end, or once your health hits the threshold. Typically you're going to be the tankiest hero in the game most likely, and if there's no breaks, there's no Huskars, there's no Vipers, you're going to have a really good time. But sticking onto targets is going to be your main issue, so you need to build accordingly, and maybe have your supports building items like Solar Crest or Force Staffs, and maybe have some stuns, because the hero has no stuns. It can be very difficult for you to actually lock down a target. Heroes like Puck and Anti-Mage are very elusive, and they're very hard for this hero to actually take care of. You could definitely still pull it off, but it's not great. And another thing is that Abaddon farms really slow, so when you are playing core Abaddon, you kind of depend on team fights to go your way, just because you don't have these farming abilities. Curse of Avernus is fine, but it's not great, and neither is your Aphotic Shield to be able to spam, so you're not really going to be clearing creep waves quite quickly, hence why this hero usually gets a Radiance. But the Radiance buildup is mostly for carry, and it takes a long time to come online. Since you farm so slow, it's very difficult for this hero to get his Echo Saber Radiance at a really good timing, and if you fully rush Radiance, it can feel kind of bad, and it'll still take a long time to get. So I typically won't get the Radiance. So the typical build I will go on Abaddon is going to be Phase Boots, Orb of Corrosion, Echo Saber into Manta, then you upgrade to Harpoon, then you get yourself a Basher and a Sol Cuirass and a Daedalus. You can also get a BKB in between. You could also get a Monkey King Bar if they have evasion, but I think Daedalus works on this hero so well. You have your Curse of Avernus with a Daedalus and your Harpoon and maybe a Basher. It's going to be insanely difficult for heroes to bring you down. This hero hits like an absolute truck. He is a universal hero, so he does benefit from items like Scotty, and Scotty is really nice, but I just think the Daedalus is a really solid pickup. But if you do need to pick up a Scotty because you're facing up against heroes like Morphling, then definitely pick up the Scotty. It's going to be incredibly beneficial for you guys to pick up an item like Scotty. And the next tip I'm going to give you guys is to play this hero with buffs. Heroes like Ogre Magi, Treant Protector. You can also play with slows like Venomancer and Grimstroke, and with the stuns, these are going to help you get a lot more kills. But if you have that attack speed from Ogre or that extra armor from Treant Protector, you're going to be able to man fight a lot better. And the Treant Protector Abaddon lane is definitely no joke. You have the slows from the Orb of Corrosion that you're going to be picking up. You have the slows from Curse of Avernus. You have the slows from Treant Protector, and you also have that extra healing from the Treant Protector as well from Leech Seed. And you also have Nature's Grasp for slow. So that lane is actually pretty toxic. You're going to slow them into a crawl, and it's going to be very difficult for them to bring you down because you're going to have that extra armor. You're going to have a Photic Shield. You can kind of heal each other and play off each other. It's a really strong lane in my opinion, and you guys should definitely play it. Now I'm going to be breaking up some of his best and worst matchups. So Abaddon is typically good up against heroes like Spectre, Arc Warden, Clinks, Silencer, basically anything that you can man fight or dispel. Heroes like Silencer don't want to see an Abaddon because you can easily dispel his whole kit other than global, but you are typically building Manta, so you don't really care a whole lot about the hero. Manta is a really good build up on this hero. And heroes like Arc Warden also suffer from the same thing. You can easily just man fight them, and if you get a Blink Dagger and jump right on top of them, they're going to have so much issues. They're not going to be able to get rid of you quickly enough, and they're going to have to get their team to buy items like Yules, and then you can always itemize towards that and get a BKB or a Linken's, and you're going to be absolutely fine. Now, some of his worst matchups are Slark, Ursa, Shadow Demon, Darkseer. So Shadow Demon is pretty brutal against this hero, not only because he's kind of kiting your ultimate, his illusions are going to do a lot of damage because they're going to be proccing Curse of Avernus, so that could be a little bit of an issue for your team. Same goes with Darkseer. Those illusions are definitely quite tough, and Ursa is just going to be able to man fight you all day, every day. It's very difficult for this hero to man fight an Ursa. You're going to be proccing your ultimate pretty much every single time, and the Ursa can just kite you, so it's a very brutal matchup. And same with Slark. Early on, you're going to be able to do a lot to the Slark, but once the Slark starts building Essence Shift stacks, you are in a world of pain. It's going to be very difficult for you to man fight that hero because the more the team fight lasts, the more the Slark is going to be even stronger. And since you're kind of just sitting there on the front lines as a really tanky hero, he's just going to be able to lay into you and do pretty much whatever he wants. It's very difficult for you to take care of a hero like Slark. But overall, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about Abaddon. I think he is one of the strongest heroes in the meta, but extremely underrated. He's definitely a sleeper pick, even though his win rate is super high. I think it's a hero that's being completely slept on, and not a lot of players either know or they just don't want to play. I'm not really sure why, but if you guys want to win some MMR and you want to have a really reliable character to play, Abaddon should definitely be your go-to, either from support or offlane. Carry is definitely very hit or miss, very situationally. I think he is much better played as an offlaner or a position 4 or even a position 5. Honestly, they're both very good, but let me know in the comments what you guys think. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.